Hello and welcome to Critical Penetrator. Today we are going to be taking a look at some really tasty Firestorm Armada ships. Okay, so you've seen from the intro that we have some of these Firestorm Armada ships. Now some of these have been sent to me by a very kind viewer of the channel, and some I've managed to pick up myself for quite a good price. So yeah, let's start having a look at some of these then. We'll have a look. I do have some open. These are all brand new in box. It's never been opened. God knows how long they would have been inside these blisters for. And we're just going to have a little review and comparison of these ships and what they're actually like in comparison to something you'd see on the shelves today in your local game store. So yeah, we've got the Halberd cruiser, or Halberd class heavy cruiser. The Swordbreaker class battleship, which I've been sent another one of these from someone, and a Skyhammer class, two Skyhammer class cruisers. Something to mention with these is all of them come with these metal parts inside the blisters here. They're part resin, part metal miniatures, which in 2009 or 2010 was kind of still in fashion. The metals were sort of being phased out. It's around the time of Finecast for Games Workshop. So yeah, this resin is very nice. Lots of people don't like using resin. I don't really mind it. I think it's quite nice, especially the War Cradle stuff and some other companies. This is actually quite nice. The metal stuff, it does come with a fair bit of flash. I'll show you some pieces when we get to it. So let's have a little look at the ships outside the box, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so we have the Battleship. Now this is a very nice miniature. As you can see, it's quite large, and I'm going to show you some comparable ships now from other naval war games, or spaceship war games, or sci-fi naval war games, as I should probably call them, and show you the detail both in the this vessel and the others. So as you can see, there's quite a lot going on here. It's sort of a brutal design. This is mirrored throughout the whole faction. The Ceruleans, they do just look like this. There's quite nice detail in the front. There's some weaponry here. But you'll notice that across these panels here, there's these lines that go perpendicular to the horizontal lines. And when I first was sent these, I thought they might be 3D prints, but actually, comparing them to the ones inside the blisters, they're not. They all have these lines on. So I'm unsure if that's a design choice. Maybe that was part of the casting process, or the restrictions. Maybe you can see here there's like some cleanup to do across the top here, which should be relatively easy with just a hobby knife. Maybe a slight bit of mold slippage. There's some flash at the back here. Now something interesting to note is that all of these ships come with a metal back, which is here, and you can see this is where they've put the resin in, and this is the mold. That's basically where they've been injecting the resin insert in there, and they've just popped it off. It would have come on like a sprue gate, and they would have chipped that off. So yeah, and this is the metal back piece, which once this is cleaned up, just goes on the back, and is the engines, the exhausts of the vessel. So all of them come like that. I'm going to show you a design flaw, which I'm not sure if it happened because of the limitations of the time, or perhaps it wasn't thought through. I'm not really sure, so we'll show you that now. So I have actually painted one of these models, just put some colour on it just to see what it's like. It's relatively nice, and this is the flying stand that all of the models come with. Now this is 3 parts. You have the main vessel part here. You have the middle part, which is all here, and then just this back piece, which you can see actually sort of overhangs around that whole part there. That is metal, and so the rest of this is resin and is very light. But the weight of this actually makes it tip over. So if you see the hole where you would put the flight stand there, well, the miniature just leans backwards because of that metal piece. Now, this isn't necessarily a problem. You could put some super glue on there and make it stay level. But I do think that it is something that you probably wouldn't get today. We are talking about models that were made in, you know, well, we're getting towards 20 years ago now. So yeah, you know, it's you know, 2009, 2010, yeah, 16 years ago. So yeah, so this is where we're at. I'll show you the unbuilt version of that miniature, just so you can understand how they work. So this is the front part, the front of the model. As you can see, it's just one piece. It's quite nice. You can also see it has those lines there which are going across across the model, and the piece here just fits in. It's got the part for the stand, and it just fits in like that. And then the metal part, the metal back piece, just gets glued onto the back here. Can't put on because of some of the flash that's on the back of this, but essentially it just fits on like this. The metal parts all come with some flash all around the edges. They are fine to clean up, just what you expect from metals, really. So yeah, so that is pretty much that for these cruisers. Now I'm going to show you a comparison of the painted cruiser with some other miniature war games models, just so we can see the difference in, you know, the time passing, the technology getting better, and what everyone else is making in the sci-fi and naval war games scene currently today. Okay, so as our first comparison, we're going to take my favourite faction from Dropfleet Commander. This is a PHR ship. Just a little bit of paint on it, just so we can see what it's going to look like and everything when it is finished. And so it is comparable to the Cerulean cruiser. These are both cruisers for their respective games, their respective model games. And you can see that there is, on the Cerulean ship, I'm not going to say that it is not detailed. It definitely is a detailed miniature. However, if you are to look at the PHR vessel, I mean, you can even see sort of like the here with the I want to say wiring or something going on, the broadside weaponry on the side there. Every single part of this miniature has some sort of detail on, apart from the smooth things, and that's just the style of the vessel. Whilst this is a brutal style and probably like a minimalist sort of style, in looking at the other Firestorm models, they do all seem to be of a similar level of detail across the miniatures. This isn't me ragging on them or saying they're rubbish. I actually really like these models. I will paint up this Firestorm fleet. I probably won't play with them, but it will just be nice to have them on the shelf. Considering I'm making quite an in-depth video about Firestorm Armada, which will be uploaded in the next, I want to say, a couple of weeks, then this is nice to have as a piece of wargaming history. So next up then, let's just place this back on here. Next up we have a same game, Dropfleet Commander. This is a Sheltari heavy cruiser. This is from the 2016 Kickstarter. It is in a white plastic. This is not resin, it's all plastic. Although if you were to not be familiar with the Dropfleet Commander plastics, the original 2016 ones are in white, coloured white, they're not coloured grey. So let's have a look at this in comparison with the Cerulean ship. So still roughly around the same size here. You can see actually that this miniature would have been quite large for the time, because the Battlefleet Gothic models were not this big for cruisers, to my memory anyway. Has been a good while since I've seen a Battlefleet Gothic miniature, but yeah, to my memory that's not the case. So yeah, this is obviously of quite a higher level of design work that's gone into this. You can see, especially with all the dots and all of the little bits and bobs that are on the miniature, yeah, this has obviously been designed by someone who's very passionate and, you know, very detailed in their ability to use CAD or whichever program they've done it with. So yeah, you can see there's quite a big leap forward. I mean, the company that makes this or made this miniature went out of business in 2017, and this was obviously concepted and created way before then. and this was released in a Kickstarter in 2016. So yeah, the difference is quite large. And then we're going to move on to a completely different company and look at a Dystopian Wars cruiser. This is the Crown faction. I think it's a Lancelot cruiser. And so you can see here, this is a 2022 miniature. So you can see here there's a fair amount of detail. It's got a lot of bits and bobs happening all over the ship. So you can see, you know, from every angle that you're looking at this from, when you're on the table and you're seeing it top down, these places are for interchangeable weapons. So you're putting, you know, whatever you want on there for each game. And yes, so let's just have a little comparison with him. Yeah, they're still about the same size again, cruiser to cruiser. You know, there seems to be the agreed industry standard cruiser size, I guess. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and now I think we'll go and look at the Battleship and compare the Battleship to some of the modern battleships. So I'll see you just in a moment. Okay, so here we are again with the Battleship. It's a really nice miniature. I actually do really like this model. It's quite chunky for a resin miniature, you know. This is a heavy boy. You're not going to be able to bend or break it at all. And I do like that. I like having a hunk of resin like this for a miniature. It's pretty nice. I don't know how they fare actually being on the... So yeah, see, this is the difference of I was talking about with the metal. So with this on the flying stand, if you're putting this piece of metal on there, this is heavy enough to be able to resist that weight. And also the way this is drilled for the flight stand, it fits really snugly. So you've got none of that real action going on unless you force it to. So yeah, this is a much better weighted thing to have a metal piece on the back. We're going to check this out in comparison to the same game here of Drop Fleet Commander. Now this is a Drop Fleet Commander battleship, an Augustus, and just going to have a look at the two together. They're both, they're not a similar design, but they both share some design elements, you know, sort of a brutal, sleek kind of thing going on. The PHR definitely have a lot smoother, a lot more smooth sort of sci-fi thing going on there, with the heavy cruiser here having almost like windows running across the ship there, or maybe they're additional weapon systems. I like the paneling. I think that's nice. So yeah, so still about the same size. So remember, this was, you know, 16 years prior, actually even longer, because this came out in 2025. So, you know, you're talking quite a long time difference between these two miniatures being released. So, and this model is all plastic. There is no resin, nothing. So this is all plastic. Multi-part kit, comes on a sprue. Something more comparable is this chunky resin miniature. The same kind of resin that you would get, the same kind of weight, to be honest. This one might be a bit heavier. So again, they are about the same size. It seems that Firestorm might have been setting the industry standard size for cruisers and battleships going forward. So yeah, we've got the Britannia, same sort of thing. It's just basically a bigger version of the cruiser we saw earlier. Really, and just the same with this. It's just a bigger version of the cruiser we saw for that game. But yeah, so you can see the detail is there. You know, it's it's not insignificant, the amount of detail which is on these old Firestorm ships for the time. I think these yeah, they're pretty nice. I'm not sure if they... I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I think this is probably obviously a more detailed miniature. It's painted, so maybe that gives more, you know, more credit to it or something. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like whilst I do very much enjoy this, I do actually really like this as well. I don't like the metal piece on the back. I don't know what the limitation was or why they couldn't put a resin piece onto this or cast it in a different way. That's a manufacturing issue, and maybe might have been from the time, you know, at the time when this was out there. Games Workshop was obviously the biggest still in the industry, and this company was doing very well for itself, especially with the second edition of this game. It really popped off, became very popular. They couldn't keep up with the demand, which is why I'm quite surprised that I've been able to get hold of these ships, to be honest with you. They are very, very expensive to buy secondhand because they are not made anymore. So this is where we are then. Just take a look at the front again. Just have a nice little look at that. Now, something which I was very surprised to be sent, and I'm going to bring it over from the pile here, is this Cerulean Halberd class heavy cruiser. You see in the box there, the design is completely different on the front than the other one. You've got the double point is there, double weapon at the front. It shares the same sort of design cues with the smoother design, smooth parts at the front and going to the back, and those circular looking, I assume they're broadsides down here. Now this miniature I could not find anywhere else online at all, and I did not know that they were sending me this. I knew that they were sending me the Battleship and the cruisers. I didn't know this was in there, and I was trying to get one, so I'm pretty excited to crack this open. At the same time, it is a piece of wargaming history now, and as an incredibly avid spaceship lover, I don't know if it will be opened or painted. We'll see. We'll see. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see me paint this model, open it and paint it, because I can't seem to find these anywhere else online. If you can find any, if you know where the other ship classes are, they're bigger ships than these for Firestorm Armada. There's dreadnoughts. There's lots of variety in the Cerulean ships that, whilst they probably don't have the variety of like Dystopian Wars or for Drop Fleet Commander, I can't get hold of any of the other parts to sort of finish out this fleet. So if you know of someone who's selling some Ceruleans and they have something that's not the basic fleet box, I'd love to know, because I would definitely be interested to pick them up for a reasonable price. You know, I'm not going to be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a game which I'm never going to play just to paint the fleet. But if they're sitting there collecting dust and you don't want them anymore, reach out to me. My email address is in the description of the YouTube channel, criticalpenetrator@gmail.com. I will very happily take this off your hands. Someone had already sent me this fantastic ship. They've sent me several of these cruisers. They had sent me some frigates as well, which I haven't shown off here. They're just very small. The frigates kind of remind me of, I don't know why, but they remind me of a plug. It's very, very strict. There's just one piece with a small weapon. Whoops, one piece here with a small weapon on the front there, connecting onto the back here. So yeah, again, crazy flash. You got the sprue gate part here, but then there's a lot of flash going around the side of this metal here. So yeah, so we'll have to do a bit of jobbing and cleaning that up, but that is exactly what I like to do in my free time. So yes, thank you very, very much for watching this video. I am concerned to know what you think about the old Firestorm miniatures. Are they something that you own? Do you love them? Have you moved them on? Yeah, and we will speak again very soon. My name is Steve. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.